Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. I'm obviously not gay. You see, America is the evolution of a slave master system, a feudal system. So when you look around and you say, hey, a lot of these people used to own slaves and so on and so forth in that sort of way, it's interesting, right? Who do you see? You see a bunch of nerds, right? You see jocks. You see kind of rich nerds because nerds quite often owned slaves and they would pretend to be important. And they would be parts of groups like Freemasonry and other occult groups where they pretend to be some kind of wizard, right? Even the Klan at one point had 6 million members, and one of the most significant titles is the title of the Grand Wizard of the Klan. And there were other fraternities that were doing the same thing. Like the majority of the adults or something were in fraternities in the early 1900s. It's about 100 years ago. That system didn't go away. It's still going on today, and there's a bunch of weirdos who abuse people. So when you look at this situation, say, hey, why do these people think that the top martial artist ever possible should follow some fucking nerds, right? It's fucking stupid. Immediately you know he's stupid. People my age especially know it's stupid because they've probably seen the movie The Revenge of the Nerds, where nerds self-identify as fucking idiots. Now, a lot of them are from the wealthier classes, and these guys in the wealthier classes have serious complexes. All right, look at the English, for example, the rich, racist English people. That is, with the James Bond, the false image of Christ, looking like an English person mixed with a Jew or something. Okay, Aleister Crowley, Freemasonry said to come from England, right? It's a recurring theme. In fact, the derogatory term for English people, which is, starts with an L, right? We find it scrambled into the word limit, with sound supply, Limi, and then the last letter's T. So it's the derogatory term and the T. It's not a coincidence. They're trying to limit you. Why? Now, if you live in America, it's very, very, very clear that we do not believe the English people are the pinnacle of life, or of idealness. Americans, believe it or not, okay, like the majority of the world, they believe that black people achieved the highest degree of idealness and that the die is cast because of technology. And you might say, well, how do you know that? Well, for the same reason I can tell you that people believe that Tonya Harding did not deserve to get the gold medal in figure skating because she sabotaged Nancy Kerrigan. So the people who came out with the technology after the die is cast cannot turn around and say, hey, after technology hit, we achieved the pinnacle of idealness, the die is cast. And also in regards to basketball, life is very much like basketball in that regard. It's not that basketball players are ideal, they're not. It's that when it comes to the pinnacle of idealness in basketball, it's black people, right? It's Wilt Chamberlain, it's Michael Jordan, okay? What have you. Magic Johnson. And there's a few white guys here and there, other races here and there that did a little something. And so it is with life in general, right? Technology isn't everything. Just like knowing all the stats in basketball isn't everything. It's how you actually lived your life. What did you actually achieve? What greatness did you achieve? Most people can't name very many people who own basketball teams because it's not so much about money. It's about kind of really living your life, soaring through the air, being great. In fact, Superman and Michael Jordan have a lot in common in that sense. And both of them, in a sense, are superimposed on me, the most ideal person, the top martial artist ever possible, is Skywalker. Greater than Air Jordan and Superman put together is the Skywalker, the Son of God. So when we look at this situation, keep in mind I'm about to make a video about this one person who said that the government put a chip in their brain, okay, and they were, they diagnosed him as schizophrenic. Again, psychiatrists, time and time again, the Rosenhan experiment, okay, the Martha Mitchell effect, Ionia State Hospital, time and time again, they don't know what they're talking about, right? Look up the political abuse of psychiatry. A long history of lying on purpose, not knowing what they're talking about, and unfairly putting people on potent psychiatric medications. Now, when we're talking about organized harassment and the massive, unbelievably massive intelligence apparatus here in America, think about the military budget. A lot of that is for military intelligence, including domestic psychological operations. The black budget. Pretty straightforward. Mental health has been very complicit, and they've been playing stupid. I want you to look at the person on the screen and ask yourself, if that person thought that sabotaging the top martial artist ever would make him and his offspring seem ideal, would you not think he's a fucking idiot? Okay? Now let's make it even simpler for those of you who struggle with that. That person thought that if he, sabotaged black people, that he could convince you that he's a better basketball player and a cooler person than Michael Jordan. Would you think he's a fucking idiot? There's no point in doing that, right? So if he sabotaged black people in the name of trying to make it so he seems like a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, naturally, keyword naturally, either he's batshit fucking crazy, or he's batshit fucking crazy and isn't that stupid, but just wants to torture people. And so it is in this case. Why are they doing this? Because they're batshit fucking crazy and they like to torture people.